Hello everyone and welcome to the 2017 IHSBCA Red Carpet Show here from the Sheridan at Keystone at the Crossing. I'm Sweet Lou Jeff Luzatter, and our first inductee is Coach Chip Sweet. He is the 180th inductee into the Indiana High School Basketball Hall of Fame. And Coach Sweet, I really appreciate your time. Congratulations to you. Shakamak High School. First question, what is it like to graduate from a high school, go four years of college, and then come back and coach your alma mater? What is that like?
Well, it's pretty special. Obviously, spent a lot of time there, and that school corporation has been really, really good to me. And it's always, sometimes people say you can't go back home or you shouldn't go back home. And it really wasn't my plan. Once I graduated from the University of Florida, I really didn't have a job at the time, so I came back home and really did not have any intentions on either teaching or coaching, and just one thing led to another, and I ended up teaching that first year out of college, and the rest is history.
Well, it says here 380 wins and 174 losses in 21 years. It does say you're retired. 3 times runner-up before finally winning the state championship. 2004, 2006, and 2012 runner-ups, and then in 2014 you did win the 1A title. In those 3 years, 04, 06, and 12, obviously, can you tell us a little bit about, did you learn something each year in order to finally succumb the state championship in 2014?
Well, I think every year you went. I mean, the first year we were there in 04, it was a very surreal experience, not only for myself, but for the kids. So I think every year we went, you always learn something. I had told everyone an interesting story that my oldest son, he was a senior in 2006. And I told everyone that when he got done, then I was done coaching. Because I knew I had a younger son coming up. I'd missed a lot of his stuff coming up. He was going to be an 8th grader. And so, anyway, we made it in 04. He would have been a sophomore. His senior year, we made it again. We got beat in that championship game, but that was my last game. So my assistant coach at the time, Matt Fugers, I recommended him for the job. And I knew we really had, it wasn't like the cupboard was bare. So anyway, Matt took over, and 3 years later, right before school started, my wife said to me, she said, "You're never going to believe what's in the paper." And I said, "What's that?" She said, "Matt gave up the job, the Shakamak job." I said, "You're kidding me." Because I had kind of joked with him when he took over. I said, "Now listen, you son of a gun." I said, "You better not bail out of there before Luke, my young son, graduates."
Right.
And so anyway, in would have been 2010, school started, no baseball coach, and the administration, everyone starts coming to me. Coach Brett, Steve Brett, was our athletic director, and he came to my room, and literally, I mean, it was very emotional. I really didn't want to take over again. I wanted to, just be able to watch him play, but there was no one else to take over. So I don't know if that really answers your question, but that's why there was a 3-year lull in there from 06 to when I took over again in 10. Mm-hmm. But I told him that, knowing that he was coming in that first year, he was an 8th grader, and I said, I'd do it for 5 more years. And so everyone knew that his senior year, 2014, whenever we got beat out of the tournament, that was my last game.
Right.
Well, I mean, you couldn't have written it any better. I mean, we won the state that year,
right?
And him as a senior, and it was really a pretty special experience.
As far as your championships, you got 14 conference championships in Southwestern Indiana Conference, 14 sectionals, 6 regionals, 4 semi-states, and 3 state runner-ups, as we mentioned, as well as a state title. Always want to talk to guys that played college ball. That experience, 2 years, you played college ball at Central Florida Community College, 1977 graduate there, and then graduated 1980 from the University of Florida. Talk a few minutes about your college days playing baseball. What position did you play?
I was an outfielder. Went down there. There was a young kid that had gone down the year before from Worthington. That's when Worthington still had a high school. And I really hadn't had any plans to play any place specifically. So I just basically went down there with him, made the team, and played there for 2 years. And it was a good experience. It was just, it wasn't a great JUCO team by any means, but it was, it was a good experience. One of Coach Jennings' good players from his 1974 state championship team was my roommate that year, Curdy Phillips, tremendous young man. And so, just experiences like that. Kurt and I, neither one had a car, and we lived about 7 miles off campus. So when we had free time, I can't even begin to tell you how many ground balls I hit to Kurt, because he played second base. And so the whole experience, of the biggest thing for me, I was 1,000 miles away from home, and my 5 years I spent in Florida, 2 there at JUCO and then 3 at the University of Florida, was, I think I'm most proud of that, of any of my accomplishments, to be able to go away from home, someone that really had never been away from home,
right,
and get my degree. And when I did go to, I really had planned on going to Purdue after I graduated from JUCO. Some of my buddies from high school had gone there. Well, they were going to take away a lot of my credits, so I thought, instead of going in there as a sophomore, I thought I'll just transfer to the University of Florida, which I did. I tried out that year as a walk-on, and that was really, Florida was good, but nothing like today.
right.
I had a really good fall, but I got cut, and here's a guy that, that's the first time I've ever experienced anything like that. But I got to be really great friends with all the players there. Coach that year, he kept 2 walk-ons. Both of them were freshman catchers, and I'm sad to say that neither one of them, they both ended up quitting before the year was out. But nonetheless, it was really a great experience for me.
Talk a little bit about your most memorable experience, 1979, 1980, coaching home run great Roger Maris's 3 sons at the Oak Hill Private School in Gainesville, Florida. How did that experience?
When I went to the University of Florida, my roommate there, he was an all-state first baseman. He's from DeLand, Florida. He played for Florida. He was a senior that year, and so he and I ended up rooming together. And then once he graduated, Oak Hall was a fairly brand new private school, and he ended up getting the job there as the PE coach, or the PE teacher, and the baseball coach there. Baseball program, again, was just, we literally built the field. And so I had to do my student teaching, and I was a PE major at the time, and so Florida, they allowed me to do my student teaching under JB, my best friend. So it just so happened that Roger Maris, that's where his kids went. So when we were building the diamond, it had it was just, had a fence around it, but it was bare. And Roger told us, he said, I'm going to go meet with George Steinbrenner this weekend, and he said, I'm going to see if I can, if he'll give us some money so we can get some of this Bermuda sod and lay the field. And that's exactly what happened. Roger came back, Steinbrenner dished out the money, the sod was shipped in from Georgia, and we laid every roll of that turf down. It was a lot of hard work, and you would have thought that Roger was more proactive, but Roger he didn't want any part of the coaching. He was off on the sidelines. He was always there to watch his kids play, but he just let the coaches do their coaching. And nice guy, really got to know him there. He's a tremendous golfer. He could hit a golf ball a country mile, and that was the one thing that I really remember. One day we were playing at home, and JB elbowed me. He said, look, and here came Roger walking in with Whitey Herzog, and they'd been to Wendy's, and they were carrying their supper in there to watch the ball game. So it was a pretty neat experience.
And last but not least, question here. Coach Sweet, what does being the 180 inductee into the Indiana Baseball Hall of Fame mean to you?
Well, it's a really humbling experience. When I got the phone call, it's like I think you got the wrong guy here. So I certainly appreciate all the opportunities that have been afforded me in my lifetime. So many great memories, as I'm sure the coaches and umpires can attest to. And it's just it's really special to know that some of your peers think enough of you, to give them their vote. And I appreciate so much all the hard work that goes into the induction ceremony, and it's without a doubt it's a tremendous honor.
Well, congratulations, Chip Sweet, for being the 180 inductee into the Indiana Baseball Hall of Fame. We'll see you later tonight.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for your time.